Let's go back in time to 1960 to the New York City Skid Row slums. And who do we find there in the Little Shop of Horrors but director Frank Oz, Ellen Greene, who plays Audrey in Little Shop. Audrey, I didn't even recognize you for a moment.
I know, isn't it wonderful? I can go anywhere.
It's the voice, it's the hair. All of this points and is a tribute to you as an actress in this performance. And tell us a little bit about the history of your involvement with this show.
Well, we started in 1982 in a little place, WPA, and we were there for 3 months. So we got paid $360 for 3 months of work. Moved to the Orpheum, then moved to the Westwood in 1983 of March. Then I went in August to England, London Comedy Theatre. And a year later, Frank tested me and I got the part.
And Frank, she knows this project better than you do.
Oh no.
She knows her role a lot better than I do, that's for sure, yeah.
And here we see you now as a director of a live-action motion picture, which, do we call it an advance from your work with the Muppets, or is it just a direction that you've wanted to take for a long time?
It's a direction I've wanted to take for a long time. I'll still do Muppets, and it's the second movie I've directed now, and I'm looking forward to a lot more. But there's different satisfactions.
I'd like to typify this film as containing a hungry kind of humor, a very aggressive kind of humor. I'd like each of you, maybe Frank first, to comment on the fact that it's not really a children's film, in spite of the fact that we hear the word charm a lot applied to it.
I'm glad you say that, because it's intended to be not for little 5- or 6-year-olds, even though my association has been with Jim Henson, who does that brilliantly. This film is, I think it's rated PG-13, and rightfully so.
Right.
Yeah.
And I wanted it to have an edge to it, a toughness to it, and make it very funny. I didn't want a kind of a bland humor. So it's meant to be for a little bit above the little small ones.
It's pretty ferocious stuff, but Ellen, you have some scenes that are marvelous in their kind of sweet romantic quality when you sing about the Greene, especially. Why don't you talk about that song? Very special for you, huh?
I love that song. It shows the child woman, it shows her dreams and her aspirations, and underneath, and there's an enormous amount of humor on top, and it's a lot of giggles, but underneath there's this wonderful, that edge that he was talking about, and the depth. Audrey is not just two-dimensional. She is has a lot of meat to her.
I especially love that. We have to see you not as a blonde bimbo, forgive the term, but we really have to go beyond that in finally appreciating Audrey, don't we?
Oh yes, and you see it in the second half in Suddenly Seymour, the past and the woman and the angst in the way her life has been, and when Seymour looks at her and loves her the way she is, not for what she looks like or whatever, it's a wonderful transformation they both go through.
Incidentally, don't look behind you, but there's a plant growing even as you speak.
I don't want to look.
All right. Frank Oz, this is a musical that is big, but yet intimate in its detail.
Oh, I've always liked you, John.
But it is, and that's a hard thing to bring off.
No, it's really, I've tried so hard to make this intimate, because I don't believe in big, bloated whale of a movie musical. I think the audience wants to care for people. So, you know, when you have Rick Moranis and Ellen Greene and Steve Martin and Vince Gardenia, and then the cameo parts of Bill Murray, I'll do a hard sell here because I want to, Bill Murray and Jim Belushi and Chris Guest and John Candy, and you can't, you have such rich talent, you don't want to make it an overblown musical, you want to see those people.
And if you watch
I mean hard sell because I want people to see this movie, I like it.
And if you watch that frame closely, you find that there's that rhythm being conveyed to us by people dancing, feet tapping. You're keeping that rhythm up visibly in the frame all the time. It's like a 30s animated cartoon in that sense.
Oh, thanks a lot. That's really nice. You know, I appreciate that.
Now, finally, this movie is really going to be big for Christmas. The word is out. There's nothing like word of mouth even before a film is released, is there?
No, it's just so unique.
It's overwhelming. It was a little project to begin with, and what it is now, and we're sitting here and doing a satellite interview, I mean, this is like a dream.
Just 10 seconds left to point out how significant it is that a woman named Greene is in a movie about Greene, starring a character named Gardenia. I mean, it goes on and on. Well, it's a fable, but I think a rather terrifying fable at that, and I want to thank Ellen Greene, director Frank Oz, The Little Shop of Horrors, for that harrowing trip back to New York City slums in 1960. Little Shop of Horrors by satellite. Good to talk to you both here in Kansas City.
Thank you
So
very
long.
much.
Thank you.
And I'm John Tibbetts.